And good evening, everybody. Welcome to a all new episode of Holotheatre. It's been what seems like a long time for me since I've been on, but we're back, and yeah, here we go. Joining me tonight is the one, the only Brian Fred, also known as BFred. How you doing today, sir?
Good. It's been a wild day, but I'm here. I'm good. I got the rest of the night off, so ready to do this.
So first of all, before we get into our interview with Brian Fred, I just wanted to thank Jared Napolitano, our marketing advocate, for stepping in while I was moving. As you can see behind me, the ambiance is a little different and everything. I'm back on the East Coast. Things are a little messy, and yeah. But we have returned. Jared did a great job stepping in and did doing hosting duties. So again, I want to thank him with a big thank you to Jared. But we are here to talk to the one and only Brian Fred. So, for those who don't know, Brian Fred has a pretty stellar Star Wars CCG career, and not only is that, he's also got the hottest store for Star Wars cards next to the PC store out there. So, how does it feel like? Okay, so let's go back and like talk about some of your accomplishments. You won an indoor Grand Prix. Uh, you've made a few top eights at Worlds. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's been years and years ago, but I think I made two top fours and then maybe like four top eights,
Hmm.
three or four. I've lost track. It's been since like 2007, so it's been a bit.
And besides that, I mean, you've won. You've gone to Texas Mini Worlds. You've gone to the NPC a couple times. You did well at both of those as well. I think you won the Texas Mini Worlds events as well.
I won one there. I won Seattle once. I won Nationals once. I top foured a few NPCs,
Hmm.
but I mean, I've done okay. I'm not like the Justins and the Johnny Chews and stuff that are always up there, but
Yeah, but
I've
you're
done
you're
okay.
one of those people that people like to pick to win events a lot. Like I know you were one of the more popular picks for the Indoor Grand Prix, besides Joe Olson. Again, you've had really good success over in Seattle, so I mean that makes sense. But outside of that, you're probably most known for being one of the nicest guys in Star Wars CCG.
I try
Uh,
to be.
you do more than your fair share. You always come to an event. You always it almost seems like you're always at events, like you're always flying to them or driving. Uh, why do you go come out to events all the time? Like, is it just to win the money, or is there something else driving you as a player?
Um, it's more camaraderie anymore. I'd say the Worlds in Philadelphia that I think maybe Desai beat Chu in the finals. I
Hmm.
can't remember, but that was basically like a wake up call for me, where I realized that I was so prepared for that event, and through like no fault of my own, just like getting the wrong matchups at the wrong times, I didn't make top eight when I felt like I had the right, like that year I felt I had the decks that I could have like won the event with. And I just remember that when I lost my last game against Jan Westergaard on camera, that I just sat there at the table for several minutes, just like replaying like
Hmm.
almost my whole life through my head. And I just like, I think that's when I lost my desire to go to be competitive and switched over the gear to go to like hang out with people, sightsee. There's like not even really play Star Wars besides in the actual event itself. So I went to Seattle the last two times, one of which I got top two against Hayes,
Hmm.
who won. And then this last time I got top four and lost to Jeffrey Levine, both of the people who won the event both times. And I didn't play a single game of Star. I hadn't played in months leading up to those
Hmm.
events, and I didn't play at all while I was there, except for the event because I was just like I wanted to play board games and hang out and stuff. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I go not to win the events anymore. I never go in expecting to win the events. When I got top two against Hayes, I was like, wow, I couldn't believe how well I did. But yeah, I go for the people and extracurriculars and just to have a good time, you know.
Speaking of which, I know that you went to Worlds a couple of years ago whenever was over in Germany.
Oh yeah.
You went over for a week. Uh,
Actually, it was like 10 days.
it was 10
It
days.
was yeah. And
Set
we
19
had a group of
spoilers.
guys and like we all just like hung out and like did
Hmm.
stuff. And again, leading up to Worlds for that, I played 0 games while I was there. I mean, some of the guys were staying up to like 4 or 5 in the morning jamming Star Wars games, and I was just like, you know, chilling with Kessling and Jan Beruta and Dennis and just like doing the fun stuff instead of playing Star Wars as much.
And it seems like you're always in some sort of picture when it comes back from the event. Like I know there's pictures of you on the internet with ice cream. What's that about?
Um, when we went to it started in Germany. Uh, Kessling, Jan Beruta, and Dennis Reinhardt and I all hung out, and I don't know if Kessling got the ice cream. He might have just taken a picture, but Jan, Dennis, and I got ice cream. It started like a tradition there,
Hmm.
and we called ourselves the Ice Cream Brothers. And then we made it a point to like all the events. You probably there's at least one of it. Jan hasn't been coming as much because he doesn't play anymore, and I miss him to death. But Dennis and I get ice cream at least once at every event. And at Nationals in Denver, which was the first event back, it was funny because we realized we hadn't got ice cream and we door dashed in Cold Stones, I think, and got a picture of us eating just like the last night of the tournament, just like eating our Cold Stones. And one
Well,
night in Seattle, we forgot in the hotel, and we went to the hotel like lobby convenience area thing, and they had like Ben and Jerry's, and we bought Ben
hmm
and Jerry's out of the thing and ate there.
well, was Dennis? What Dennis wasn't there for Endor, correct?
No, I mean that's a very sad subject about the whole COVID policy and stuff, which I don't really want to get into here.
Yeah,
But
let's talk about good
I'm
stuff.
hoping that that gets changed. But you know, it is what it is right now. That's all I can really say about that.
Okay. So you had some success in day one and day two as well. What decks did you play in Seattle? Let's talk about that really quick.
I played on the verge of greatness,
Hmm.
which again I hadn't played leading it like anything leading up to it, but it was a deck that I had that was interesting and I felt would be good against mains, which I felt a lot of people were just going to be playing communing and stuff like that. And I played Yoda Yoda communing build with some cards changed that Matt Scott had originally made when communing first got released. So it was like
Hmm.
almost a few cards different than the first variant he ever made. I just never,
Okay.
changed any cards because I never played. I never actually played before this year a game of communing in my life
Hmm.
in Legacy or now. So I played quite a few times since this year, but I'd never played before this year.
And it's funny that you were talking about this because in day one you ended up being the number one seed. Uh, let's talk about that Verge deck for a while. Like you're the first player to really bring Verge to an event like that and play it and do well. Uh, what made you go with that deck in particular for Dark Side?
Um, just that I thought I would be good against mains really, and like I told you, like with the whole like competitive and just like not wanting to like do anything like besides have fun and play
Hmm.
games. I was just like, I'm playing Verge and Kessling. I mean, everybody on the team tried to convince me 100 times not to play it. I was like, no, I'm just playing Verge. He's like, man, he's like, when I come to the events, BFred, I want to see you do good as much as I want to see myself do good. But if you play that, you're just gonna do crap.
Oh,
He's like, I want you to do well, and I'm just like, I was like, I have faith in it. I was like, I don't want
and
to think about it. I don't want to be
yeah,
that guy up until 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning thinking about my decks. I'm literally for the team stuff. I'm always the first person to send my decks in. I
true.
like set them in, and
Hmm.
then I'm just like chilling, and people are like sending them in the next day and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't want to be scrambling. I just want to, you know, because I mean, a lot of it, and this is what I feel too with Star Wars. You
Hmm.
can only prepare so much, and the rest is fate. It's just like that Worlds I told you about, where I was completely prepared and just through no fault of my own. It's just like I got instead of playing any Naboo CRV, which was the very top deck in the format, I played 2 TTO decks, which was off the radar completely before that event. And it's just like
Hmm.
I didn't make, I didn't do good enough. So it's just like, might as well. I mean, just play good, know the decks you're going to play, and then just
Yeah.
hope that you get the right pairings.
And it's funny that you were talking about with Kessling and everything. I know that you ended up coming in third in the main event, where I want to say Mike came in third on the consolation. Is that true?
He got at least third, because I
Yeah,
know that he was right up there. He was 5-1, or he was the top 4-2. I can't remember which it
yeah.
was for that event.
So I mean, it just goes to show you that I mean, you brought a deck that you had uh, faith in, and you did really well with it. But I just found that one interesting because you completely avoided ground in this deck. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those things. If you go to the ground, it's going to be late game when they like leave a side open, like old
Hmm.
allies or somebody leaves a side open, and you can just like shuttle down like your Vader, your Tarkin, whoever.
Okay,
Other
but
than that, you're just playing stuff to like minimize their draining potential or damage potential.
I just like how it started the Death Star reactor terminal, and then you play cards like Homing Beacon and
Homing Beacon is sick. Homing Beacon is good stuff, man.
but and then you play. I find it funny that you played 5 copies of We Must Accelerator Plan in this deck. That just seems overkill.
The thing is, since you're playing Star Destroyers, you need force, and then you're gonna have to pay to force drain. You're gonna have to pay for your Star
Hmm.
Destroyers. So getting your bridge out first turn is even more key in this deck than like most decks,
Okay.
because you're gonna be drain racing most games with this deck. So you're gonna come out
Hmm.
as quick as possible, and you also have several effects that you want in your deck: Bright Center of the
True.
Universe, Image of our Dark Lord. It had lateral damages. I cut those, I think, at
No,
one point. But I
you
mean,
had, yeah. I was gonna say you
I had
played
I had
2.
those at Endor, but I cut them, I think, after that and
Okay.
tried some other things. But yeah, there's you want to get your bridge first turn, and then you want to be able to get
Okay.
your bright center really fast, because it has all the systems you can target to shut off force drain
I, w-
bonuses.
I was just about to ask, like, it played Tatooine V of all things. Like,
I didn't know
that's
which Tatooine to play. Like, I mean, I just like none of the Tatooines felt helpful. I think the episode 1 Tatooine lets your opponent move for free from it or something. So I knew I wasn't going to use that
Hmm.
one. And then it's just like, do I use V or Premier V or regular Premier? So, and that's just if you play Prophet or the Farm, and they have like a guy with a lightsaber there. You can just like possibly shut that force drain off if you don't
Hmm.
target Naboo instead.
Okay, so we brought this up a little bit ago that you recently opened up your own Star Wars card store. How does it feel to have a store?
It feels great actually, because I mean I've sold a lot of stuff on eBay. Everybody knows I
Hmm.
post like the I was posting auctions almost every other week last year. I probably sold from premiere to at least special edition, if not Endor. I probably sold 12, 13 sets, complete sets over the course of the year. And that doesn't, I mean, I don't know if you can like see, I like try and pan so you can like see boxes and stuff. There's like stuff just like
Wow.
everywhere and everything. But like there's, if all the stuff that you're seeing on eBay, I've got that's maybe like one maybe even just like 1/20th of the stuff I have. Maybe not
Wow.
that high, but the thing is, if it's not some place where people can see it, and this is what I learned working at Walgreens,
Hmm.
if it's in the stock room, nobody can see it to buy it. Which the card room here is pretty much my stock room, because nobody can see the stuff if it's not on
Hmm.
eBay or something. And I didn't have the time really to do anything with it. So getting the store, like I did eBay auctions last week. It probably had like 16 or 17 eBay auctions in. And then through the course of like the 3 days before that, I probably got like 12 orders or something like that on my
Hmm.
store. And it's just like, people buying. Here's just like stuff that was on my table. I think that's they shut down the main reactor. So that's not a very good indicator, but people are just buying random commons and uncommons to build decks, stuff that I would just never sold otherwise.
Hmm.
They're just sitting in boxes. So it's really nice. It's great. Right now I'm trying to find ways to get more stuff up on eBay. So hopefully people buy stuff on eBay, since it's definitely a bigger market, and I can just put my business card in and they can see that, hey, he has a
Okay.
store. I don't have to pay tax. I don't have to pay eBay fees, that kind of thing. So that's nice.
So, what sort of challenges did you face opening up a store? Obviously, you face some competition between Category One, eBay, because I mean other people are going to sell on there, obviously, and then of course we know that the PC has its own store. But so besides the competition, like what sort of challenges did you have?
The biggest one, and I mean, this may people might not look at this as a challenge or anything, but it is time. Like time to like do
Hmm.
things to like make things like work properly. You of course have to find cards to buy because I mean none of this stuff. If I sell all this stuff and don't get new stuff, it's just like you can't keep. I mean, and I love doing this. This is like it's not work to me. It's like everybody wants to have that job where it just feels like it's not work, and that's I wouldn't say I'm there yet, but it's like it's something I could see maybe
Hmm.
happening. But yeah, there's that. Just not having things organized or sorted right. The competition thing is fine because like a lot of places don't have the stock I do or the time to update. Since I mean, and this is like necessarily a good thing because it's just that I don't have a family. I don't have kids, significant other. So I have so much more time I can devote to like selling stuff. I went through and checked not really the PC store, but Category One and Brandon Bunn's store. And I don't want to plug
Okay.
another competitor store, but started with CCG store. People know that one, and maybe sometimes it doesn't get a great rap, but I mean, I haven't had any problems with buying from
Hmm.
Brandon. But I checked the prices on both of them and tried to get under their prices on all the stuff I posted. So like just spending the time checking both websites and then
Oh wow,
updating
yeah.
all the rares. I pretty much just blanket generic priced all the commons and uncommons to be like competitive with theirs or under theirs
Hmm.
uh, with sets and stuff. The set I haven't sold any sets on my store yet, and I don't think the prices are outrageous. But at the same time, with like Coruscant sets or Endor sets, some of the more sets that people would like, want to get. If I sell them too cheap, the competitors just buy them and then sell them as singles. So that's why some
Hmm.
of my prices are higher. So if people like see sets or are interested in sets to see this from my website, just hit me off the website and maybe I could sell you one lower than that. But those prices are mainly there. I mean, I think they're reasonable enough, but they're there so the competitors don't just buy my sets and then sell them as singles, and then I don't want stuff
Hmm.
like that to happen either.
So really quick, I'm going to actually bring up your site so that way people can see it. So in the corner, actually right below you, uh, or let's just put it in between us because that make it look nice. But we have your site up on the screen right now. So the first thing that I notice is it's it shows off like Star Wars. You have that image of Ahsoka versus Vader. What made you
My
pick
two
that
favorite
one?
characters.
Your two favorite characters,
Oh yeah.
and then it seems like it's very all your buttons look really good. So just looking at it, like it looks like a really well designed website. Did you create this one or?
Um, I gotta give props and shout out. He'll probably never watch this, but Chad Mills, he's a guy that I sold cars to and had some just deals and stuff with on Facebook over the course of probably just a year now. And he told me at one point because I tried to do it myself with the help of Chris Twilliger, and I basically got after I like got the domain and everything ready. I just was like, look at it, it's like God. I was like, I don't even know where to start. Like I was
Mhm.
just literally completely overwhelmed right away, and just I was like, I can't. I was like, I tried to ask Chris about it. He tried to give me help, and I couldn't like do it. And another of my buddies said, hey, go to this thing called Fiverr or something like that. That they'll
Okay.
basically design the website for you. And I was just like, I never got into it. Plus, I didn't have the time then. So eventually, this guy Chad told me that he designs websites for fun sometimes. And he
Okay.
said, "Would you if I ever found the time? I'm not." And he wouldn't. He just said, "I don't want to commit to it, but if I found the time, would you be interested if I made you a website to sell your
Mhm.
cards on?" I'm just like, "Yes." I was like, "That would be like that. That'd be like the ultimate like goal because it, you know, I mean, not only, I mean, I want to make money, obviously, but
Mhm.
I mean, if anybody knows me, I give away so many freebies, and I mean, I
Yeah.
brought like, I remember John Anderson, our good buddy who has
Yeah.
passed from cancer. one year I put up a Death Star 2 complete set as like a raffle prize for I think it was like one of the Seattle events or something, and he actually won that. So some of the stamp cards that went out from his collection might have been from that DS2 set that he got. And I don't know if people remember the foil reflections packs I made that had like 2 foils and like 1 rare from every set. I think Dan, you bought some of those years ago.
I bought some, and then you gave some out as prizes for
Yeah,
Endor one year.
I brought like some and gave them to like the bottom 10 people from Seattle. Of
course, I got one there.
You got one there too?
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, I like that because I know it's rough for a lot of people that they're like, I don't want to go to the NPC. If I lose the first round, I don't get to play anymore. It's just like, I totally understand that. And I mean, there's so much more than, first of all, getting knocked out the first round and not be able to play anymore, because there's just stuff going on all day. Like, I live for the extracurriculars, but I sort of like those people that are on the fence about going to their first events or like coming to have fun and stuff. I like giving like incentives and stuff like that. So people, can get a little bit, like, at least if you get beat in the first round, you might like win a Thief Palace complete set or just something like cool that's just like, oh wow, this is awesome, So I try to do stuff like that. And go ahead.
I was going to say, so it looks like you buy cards off of people. Have you had people sell you cards through your store?
Not yet. And I've been I've got it to
BFred, looks like Brian froze on us for a second. Let me see if that's me or
to-do list, and one of them is to make. You look frozen on my screen. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. Yeah, we froze for a second between each other.
But some people reached out to me to sell cards on my site. A few people have, and it's just hard because I don't have a buy list set up, and. I do. If people contact me though, I've talked to a few people about buying cards and stuff through there, but nothing like that so far. Like, I do need to make a buy list though.
Yeah. So you're a collector as well. Do you want to? I asked you earlier before the show and everything to show off some of your prize collection artifacts or whatever. Is there some stuff that you want to show off to the viewers that you've accumulated over the years that you say is like your treasures, the stuff that you'll never get rid of? Oh, I think we froze again. So I know everybody, it's thundering here in Pittsburgh, so this might be why. I did have to set up the internet today, so if things are going a little weird and everything, this is probably why. I don't know if anybody can hear us. Okay, you there?
I'm here. Okay. Is everything back?
I think it is. Yeah, it's thundering and lightning here, so I'm assuming that's what's causing this.
As far as like my collecting and stuff, I never really, a lot of people that know me know that for a long time I didn't have a job and was sort of like just like a bum and stuff. And so I never really like collected anything. I had a small collection of cards I played with, but never really collected anything. And then when I first bought my first collection, I had some cards in a binder. Like I was like, I'll keep one of every set. And it turned out eventually, like when I started looking at the cards that were in the binders, they were like, a lot of them were like nasty or had surface wear, or I hadn't like looked at them like well enough under a light or anything. And I was just like, and shortly thereafter, I figured out that if you store your cards in binders, they can go in the binder near mint and come out, slight play just from like having surface wear on them. So I was like, I'm not storing my cards in binders. So I started storing my sets in boxes, and I was like, what's the point of having these if I can't actually like look at them or enjoy them or anything? So then I was just like, I'm just not going to collect cards. And so I didn't collect anything for like years. And then like, I think Joel Cooper, I don't know if anybody knows the name, but he's a guy from Minnesota who I bought a stalker Japanese from for a buddy of mine to trade him. And then he also had a Japanese trample, which funny enough, I had thought about collecting, just like picking a card to collect. And I was just like, I didn't want it to be like, we'll say, trying to think of a good example, Qui-Gon with lightsaber. Because there's like 2 Qui-Gons with lightsaber. There's a foil and there's a regular one. Yeah. I wanted something that had a Japanese, a foil, something with a lot of bearings. I was like, Darth Vader. I was like, that'd be cool, right? But like Darth Vaders are just like so expensive, so hard to find. Like a Japanese
Yeah.
Darth Vader, a nice one, maybe like $1,000. So I was like, no, I can't do that. So when I got that first Japanese trample from the guy, I was like, I'm just gonna keep this. This is gonna be the start of my collection. So I don't know. I'll try
Okay.
and show this, but I've got my trample binder that I started
Oh God.
where let's see if I can even figure out how to open it. I had like 6 of these binders and the cat destroyed all of them but one by sharpening his claws on them. So
Okay.
I don't know if try and get the light out of there. Those are
Yeah. So you got 5 of them right now.
that's Japanese. This is Japanese foil. That I just try to leave some pages, regular foil. I don't have a whole lot yet. I mean, I just started this like a few months ago. So I just started regular trample. And then you know what the weird part was? When I started to decide I collect them, like regular black border Hoth tramples are like $24 each now or something like that, which I had no idea when I started this too. So I'm just like, God. So if I like want to trade for these, I have to actually like give people like all sorts of like, like good stuff because white border tramples are like $30 or something crazy because people decided that white border cars were pretty sweet.
Yep.
But that is, I mean, I don't really collect anything. But I mean, the tramples, I was like, I get bored, and I guess maybe I have to have something to collect. In the other room, I've got a bunch of sealed stuff. If you wanted me to like go out there, I could like open up a tote and show that. But
I can imagine.
And then
Greg
I
Shaw.
got one more thing I'll show you here.
Okay, really quick, while you're going through that, Greg Shaw has asked in the chat, do you need a trample signed with kids? What kids?
No, I own that, and I'm actually going to once I get good old Joe Olson. Joe Olson has a Japanese trample. I found out that I'm going to figure out a way to get that from Joe, but then I'm going to have him sign it, and that's going to be the trample that I play with from now on. And the kids, what kids? I'll find that one here in a minute if I can. But then another thing I decided I collect. I don't know if anybody can see that.
Oh, jeez.
Those are Darth Maul Young Apprentice AI foils. And the thing is, I don't really collect those because they're too expensive to collect. Because like the last 2 on eBay went for $950 and $980.
Jeez.
So, but if I get them in a collection, I don't sell them though. They just go up in my box. So I've got. I showed Dan. I don't know if anybody might care to see the Kevin Shannon signed Darth Maul Young Apprentice foil, but counting that one, I've got 10. I've got 7 up there that I just showed you, 2 in sets, and then the Kevin Shannon one.
Jeez, that's insane.
But I mean, other than I guess I collected sealed. I need 1 box. I need a white border Empire Strikes Back 2-player set to have one of every sealed box, at least one. Here's some more things. People can be jealous of this. I don't know if they can see that. That's my double foil Agent Kesslings. So if you see me playing ISB in a tournament near you, it's my heterosexual life mate, Mike Kessling, that I am playing my ISB deck for him. I can't find the trample, Greg Shaw, and Greg Shaw is going to be awfully disappointed.
Yeah. Oh, I will say this: if you ever win Guest of the Year, you would get to design. You would get to be on a card just like Mike Kessling.
Oh man, what would I even pick? Chief Retwin? We'd have to make Chief Retwin.
Yeah, I was going to say. So speaking of which, your name on everything is Retwin. What 316?
Retwin 316. Yeah.
What came? Why did that come up? Like, what's the significance of Retwin?
Okay, so I like to name drop. So as you haven't seen, I've name dropped like a bunch of people. I'll name drop a few more people. Clint Hayes. Anybody remember Clint Hayes? I'm sure some people do. So Clint Hayes, back when we used to be on speaking terms before we had a slight falling out, he got me into internet hearts because we played hearts at events. Me, Clint, Johnny Chu, and whoever else was there.
That sounds like an interesting game.
Yeah, I know it was fun. I love hearts. There's just no place to play it anymore. But there was a site on Yahoo that had like a casual sort of lobby thing with a ladder system. And me being competitive is all you know what. I mean, obviously I don't even though I don't prepare for these events as much anymore, I'm still super competitive, just with anything. I like to win. I like to at least know I played good. But he got me to play Hearts on there. And of course, it's like 2000. I don't have an email, anything like that. So I have to pick something. And I was over at my buddy Kirk Murray's house, which was like my ride or die teammate for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked up a stack of Cloud City cards. Were just sitting next to me on the computer when I had to pick a name, and there was a Chief Retwin there. And I was just like, I think I tried to originally just put Retwin, and it wouldn't work because, like millions of people have, Yahoo accounts. So somebody already had Retwin.
Wow. That's...
And so we were watching wrestling, and Stone Cold Steve Austin was on there, and he was doing his Austin 316.
Yep.
I just whipped your ass. Ooh, sorry, I haven't f-bombed yet though. He said watch the f-bomb.
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, Retwin 316 seems like an okay thing, and sure enough, it wasn't taken, of course. So that just became, I made an email. It was my Hearts thing. A lot of people knew me, so I just kept that and went with that from there.
So how many Chief Retwins have you signed throughout the year?
0. I've never signed a Chief Retwin. Nobody's ever, because Chief Retwin, for one, has probably just never been in a deck. Greg Shaw, look what I found. It was in my Rops deck, which is the last deck I played in a tournament. So, of course, I'd have my favorite trample in there.
Okay. I think you just made Greg Shaw's night.
Don't think about trying to trade me for either, Greg Shaw. That thing's not going anywhere. But it just sort of stuck then. But nobody, Chief Retwin is just hiding would be something cool if he could just swing a weapon at him first or shoot him. So it's just I thought about trying to virtualize him, but I don't think it'd be possible to virtualize him in the intent that I would want without him being broken. So it's whatever.
Hey, as long as he's fun, I think Chris Kelly and the designers will be okay with it.
Fun for the saying that he could hide as a just, so they couldn't hit him with a weapon. They wouldn't let that happen, because then there'd be almost no removal for him. He'd be like BB9E, and just sit there in front of somebody, just be like, "Hey, I'm BB9E."
Well,
I'm here to deal with it.
I was gonna say you could still target him with "Sorry about the mess" during the control phase.
Yeah, but that's
still... he's technically not an undercover spy, and as we learned, Hayes would be okay with that.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. But yeah, I don't think I've ever signed one for somebody, because just nobody ever has one with them. I actually took, though, my small box. I showed Dan earlier that my people ask me about my collection sometimes. I tell them, I was like, I don't consider all these stuff that I'm selling my collection. My personal collection is a little bag here that has about 20 decks. Let me see it here on the floor. I just pulled that Rops out of. Maybe we see it.
Yeah, we see it.
And then my little slide over here on my shelf. That box right there, you see it? Yep. That is the extent of what I would consider my personal collection. So I actually pulled out 2 Chief Retwins and put them in my personal collection, just in case down the road I decided that maybe he does need virtualized.
And I was going to say, so the rest of those boxes there are everything you have for sale?
A fraction. Because, there's stuff. A guy sent me literally 500 pounds of cards. And out of that 500 pounds of cards, I made him a player's collection out of the cards. And then we worked out a deal on the leftovers. Wow. So he paid me to make him a collection, and then we worked out a deal on the rest of them. The same guy that made my website.
Oh, okay.
So and also on my website, if anybody wants to the ultra rares, alternate images, Japanese Hoff, Japanese Premier, and tourney foils are all his cards. So the prices on those, I didn't do anything with. So people are just like, why do you have, these crazy high prices and stuff? Wow. It's just I was like, on those are not my prices.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have I just clicked on the tournament foil really quick. You have a Corellian Corvette on there for $800.
And he actually sold 2 of those to a guy. There was 2 Imperial class Star Destroyers at 1,400, and he sold both of those too. So, yeah. Me personally, I have a tourney foil set of my own, but I don't know if I consider that part of my collection because would I sell it for the right price? But it's also something I'm not, it's like the Darth Maul Young Apprentices. It's like, I'm not really looking to sell that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just sort of have this, I guess. It's like they're limbo. They're neither mine. They're not for sale, but they're not for sale. I know it's like weird, but there's stuff that's just like sort of there. It's like, yeah, I have this, but I don't really, my collection is my signed cards and everything that people that those are what I collect. I collect memories. I collect my TTO that's signed here. And on the back, it just has a sticker that says brilliant. But that never gets flipped over when you're playing TTO. And I got Green Eggs and Ham, one of the Death Star 2 sectors that Jan Westergaard has drawn for me. But that's what I collect, if anything, is I collect memories. So if I ask you to sign a card or 2 or 3, that would be lovely.
Justin Desai wants to know how much for the how much for the memories with Brenson's collages. Collages.
I was actually going to. I knew Justin would get a kick out of it, so I'm actually just going to stand up and I don't know if we can see the collage. This is what Justin's talking about. My mom actually wanted to get Justin on there too, but Justin and I weren't ever the closest. We weren't Star Wars tournament fiends. I don't know if you can see the.
He wants you to show the poem.
The what?
The poem.
Oh, let's see. I don't know if you can see that. Can you guys see that right here?
We can. Yeah, we see there's writing. Go ahead and read it to us.
You want me to read it to you?
Yes.
It says, early mornings, comma, intelligent looks, comma, crowded hotel rooms, comma, late nights, comma, a few fights, comma, or at least nasty words in what are those brackets, a long flight, and finally that win in Seattle that led to the World Championship. So that was mostly these were from 1999, where the last year that they actually had like really awesome, like they really like did it for the people who qualified, like paid for everything, hotel room for the whole thing, flight for everything. And I in 98 made 2 Gen Con. I made top 2 and lost. And then we drove 28 hours to Winnipeg and I made the finals there and lost. And then in 99, I got top 8 in every qualifier I played in, but they cut it down to only having 1 qualifier for regional then, when years before that there had been 3. But I got top 8, maybe not at Gen Con, but I got top 8 at every other one I played in. And that was the last, they did a last chance qualifier that year. And we flew out to Seattle, Kirk, Joe Allreed and myself, and stayed with Derek Snook, which people that probably don't know that name, but he was a local guy that moved to Seattle. And I lost every single game of play testing leading up to that while we were there at the thing, and then went 6-0 in the Open and won the first game of the finals against Doug Harvilla by something like 13. And in the second game, it wasn't looking like great for me. And then at one point, I thought I could get him under 13, but at one point he drew enough cards where he was down to only having 11 cards in his hand. And this was back before there was like Weeses and people playing all these recycling interrupts and stuff. So I just like sort of like Stone Cold looked at him and just drew cards one at a time, waiting for him to play, and he used interrupts and he never did. And I just was like, all right, you win. And I stuck my hand out, but I won. Obviously, I won by more. So
yeah,
that was a nice feeling. And yeah, that was the first time I qualified for Worlds.
Nice. There you go.
The Mornow brothers and Kirk Murray and Steve Brinson up there in the Star Wars Fiends collage up there. Awesome. Justin Desai's favorite thing of all time. And no, Justin, that is not for sale either. So I know it breaks his heart not to get that, but
yeah, he just did ask how much for it. So
something like that is priceless, right? Something that your mom loves you and cares about you enough to make something like that for you.
Yeah.
I just want to shout out to my mom too, who is the best mom of all time, and has been very patient with me and forgiving and kind throughout the years, and would make me nice things like that and stick with
Hmm.
me and put up with me, because some of you know me, and I can get a little hard to deal with sometimes.
No, you
Asking
can.
everybody probably.
So, so really quick, let's talk about. So we mentioned this a little bit ago with some of the prices on your site and everything. What's going on with the finance aspect of Star Wars cards? We've seen since the start of COVID, essentially, that the prices have gone through the roof. What's your take on that, especially as somebody who owns a store?
Um, Basically, I can sum it up like this. Once COVID hit and there was no travel and things like that, people just had money to spend. And when you have money to spend and you start getting bored because you can't do all the things you want, you start looking at other things, and the nostalgia hits in.
Hmm.
In 2003, I won a poker tournament online and got $9,800. And back then, I had no job, no nothing. So to me, $9,800 is just like, like more money than I'd ever seen in my
Yeah.
life at one time. And so you know what I did with that money? I lost some back in poker, trying to
Okay.
play 15-30, which is like stakes. I had no reasonable way that I should ever have been playing that high, and lost a
Hmm.
bunch of money for that. But then you know what I bought? GI Joe figures, like just old school. Because when I was a kid, I always played with GI Joe figures and loved GI Joe figures and stuff. But I bought so many GI Joe figures. And then, and I bought a bunch of Magic cards, but I mean, obviously I could sell those back easily. So I still got like a drawer full of GI Joe figures down here that I have from when I lost my mind and did the nostalgia thing. But so like this is what all these people with money did with their money during COVID. And what happened was stuff like Black Border Premier and White Border Premier is never going to run out, which is why the prices of that,
Hmm.
may have went up a little, but like it basically stays the same. It's not moving. But then you see the stuff like Darth Maul Young Apprentice foil. This went from, we'll call it before COVID, $100
Yeah.
to selling on my website. The guy has it for 1,200, and I wouldn't sell it for. Yeah, I would even think I would, like, if somebody was like, "I'll give you $950 for one," like I would be like, no, I wouldn't even think about selling
Yeah.
it to them for anything less than 1,000. And even at 1,000, I'm just like, I don't need $1,000. I'd rather just have all my malls sitting in a box and feel warm and special inside. But yeah, people, and the thing with those is like, if you got some idiot like me who's got 9 of them, or
Yeah.
9 non-signed ones, how many of them are out there that people are going to be selling and available? So when stuff isn't available, it's just price and demand. It just like goes up in value. And like stuff like Theed Palace, R2 Brave Little Droid. Dan, tell me how much an R2 Brave Little Droid non-AI sells for right now. If you had to guess without looking it up.
Without looking up, I'm going to say 240.
240 what? Non-AI, just
Oh,
a regular
non-AI,
R2 a
non-AI,
regular R2
80,
Brave Little
80,
Droid.
$80.
Well, it's not that high, but I think that you're saying that just for the pure fact that you're thinking that I'm going to be saying something way high. But
Yeah.
no, like most people think that's like, without looking, would think that's like a $25 card, and they actually sell for like something like 60 now. And the reason
Well.
is Theed Palace is just hard as heck to find. Like when
Hmm.
people like get it, it's become, these sets are becoming scarce. So when new people and there are new people coming into the game and playing, or new collectors still, the cards are just like the episode 1 stuff that was not in as high of demand is becoming harder to get. And especially since R2 Brave Little Droid went from not being any decks to like all these QMC
Yeah.
decks playing 2 in them. So it's just like, I don't even have 2 of my own. I had to trade. I got one that was damaged, so I just kept it instead of selling the damaged one for my own personal stash. But it's just like, I have 1 or 2 that aren't in sets. I think I have like 4 complete sets of near mint, and then I have just one R2 Brave Little Droid right now. And so
Wow.
every time people have bought those recently, I've been like raising the price, just
Yeah.
because like it's like nobody has these things. So nostalgia, basically, people having way too much money. which is why it's stabilized a little now because travel is becoming a little bit more open again. So I think people are less, looking to like get stuff now, but
D-
people still buy stuff. Like
yeah,
I've seen like I've seen LSJK foils sold for like $500 on eBay recently. If PSA and Beckett get caught up enough to get stuff graded again, you might see a raise in prices again too. Because right now, to get a card graded, like one card, it's like $50 a card. Instead, it used to be like you could get them for like $8 at bulk prices.
wow.
So it's just not realistically a thing you can want to like do now is get cards graded.
Yeah.
But like I have a box of stuff that I have that's just like all pack fresh mains that I pulled. That eventually, if it goes down, I'll get those graded because
Hmm.
some stuff isn't worth anything graded wise. Like nobody's gonna that shut down the main reactor I showed you guys earlier. Nobody cares if you have a PSA 10, they've shut down the main reactor. But if you have a PSA 10 Japanese Vader, you know, that's gonna
That's gonna
demand
talk.
yeah, that's going to demand a much higher premium.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, do you think the prices are going to start to go down, or do you think they're going to still continue to go up like they have been over the last little bit?
Um, I think they'll if they do go up now, you're not going to see anything drastic like it was during COVID. It'd be like maybe a few bucks here, a few bucks there, and either plus or minus, obviously, because some of my played condition sets haven't sold for as much lately.
Hmm.
But it's still like I sold like I was telling you earlier before we got on stream. I sold like last year like 13 complete sets of a lot of those sets. So and other people are selling those sets too. So it's just like they're not in as high of demand. So like stuff like that I'm selling is just you see me selling like that. It's stuff that I'm just trying to like get some money fast because I'm
Hmm.
trying to like buy something or just want some money. But I mean later the better cards and stuff is gonna retain. Reflections 3 foils are just basically drying up so much. Those things will just
Yeah,
like keep going up, and not even just the ultra rares. Like destroyer droid foils are like going for over $100 and stuff like that now.
that's crazy.
The saddest thing that happened to me all year was when I got a foil destroyer droid in a collection. I was so excited, and I looked at it. It was the only card that was in a sleeve, and you could tell that like it was like there was like red on the border, like there was like something behind it. And I was just like, what? So I take it out of the sleeve, and it's like literally like you ever see the foils just like fall off the card?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I took one of those instead of like because I was just like a thing like a piece of foil flopping around and just like taped it onto a regular card and put it in my own collection in case I need to use a destroyer droid because I was just like what. The destroyer droids are like
Yeah.
$50. I was like, that's way too much to not keep this peeled off sticker
Yeah.
destroyer droid. That's still technically, if you put on that card, it's still a destroyer droid.
True.
But
So
yeah, so that's the saddest I was all year.
I can imagine. So really quick, there is a lot of going on right now in the Star Wars CCG world. For those who are paying attention outside of BFred's shop and the finances aspect, but we still have the June OCS is currently going on. Gavin is in first place, sitting at 9-2. Timo, no surprise, it's June's 8th, and he's already done with all 12 of his games.
That guy's a
Uh,
machine.
but right behind him is Justin Desai sitting at 6-0, and Drew Lichtenstein sitting at 5-0. So two really good players sitting there undefeated.
It's
Uh,
gonna create some buys for us.
yeah, and then we also have the Father's Day fundraiser going on. Again, Greg Shaw and Timo both and Connor Britton all sitting at 20 games played and sitting at 17-3. So congrats on all three of those guys. Chris Kelly sitting at 14-4. So make sure you guys get your games in on that. Again, the Father's Day event is going on until the end of the month. If you have any, if you're looking for any information regarding it, make sure you check out the forums. Jared also posted on the Father's Day event to share a Star Wars CCG father story to get some additional prizes. So if you have any good stories Go ahead and post onto the forums regarding those. And then right around the corner, Nationals is going to be going on July 15th through the 17th. I'm going to assume that Brian Fred is going to be there, being that most of his teammates and most of his allies are.
Be there Tuesday to Monday.
There you go.
Gonna hang out with Brian Mishke a couple days and wait for Kessling to get there. Hopefully, some Dennis and Jan Beiruta.
And looks like we have 5 players already signed up for that one. So if you're going to plan on going to Nationals, make sure you get signed up for it. And then right around the corner, the Jawa Brawl will be going on. So that is looking like it's going to start after Nationals, the Bunta Eve Jawa Brawl. So make sure you stay tuned for more information regarding that. Tonight we have some giveaways. One of our David Woods has printed off some of those sticker booklets. He made some really nice copies of those, so we're going to give away a few of them. He actually has one of them, so we're going to give away one of them. BFred, let's pick a number between 1 and 17.
Well, I want to pick 17 because that's how much wood a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. But I'm going to go with 4. 4 is my other go-to number.
Bing Cortana. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Bing, if you're in the chat, make sure you message me right now and to claim your prize. Also, we have a stamped. Our token card for today is going to be BFred. Give me a card.
Chief Retwin.
Chief Retwin. Your token card for the day is Chief Retwin. So if you are participating in the sticker program, BFred has said that today's token card is Chief Retwin.
Gotta give him some love, man.
We
Since
do.
I never made a B card for him.
Pick 23.
Oh. How about I want to give some giveaways too. Is that cool?
Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I've got an I trade for the PC foil slips and trade them to people for cards and whatnot. So I'm gonna say the first 5 people that message Dan Tartaglione's Holotheatre email and put Chief Retwin in there and just put Chief Retwin foil slip. And the first 5 people that Dan gets for that, I will send a random foil slip, and he'll give me the address once we find out who those 5 people are.
Okay.
If that's something that we can do here, that they won't get lost in the Holotheatre shuffle.
Yeah, let me see if I can make sure I can tell you what those are. But yeah, I'll make sure we get to those. And then, so yeah, first 5 people get something from BFred. That's cool.
Chief Retwin foil slip.
Chief Retwin foil slip. Is there even? There's no foil Chief Retwin.
There isn't. There is not. But I was trying to think of something that they could put in the things so that would differentiate from your sticker book. So we wouldn't have getting confused and stuff like that of what people were like sending the emails for. Trying to make it easier. So for the sticker book thing, sticker book is the subject, right?
Token.
So then for this, just make the subject line Chief Retwin. First 5 people that send a subject line Chief Retwin to Dan Tartaglione's Holotheatre.
Well, I'm pretty sure Ryan Saracen already did it, so we'll count Ryan.
Oh, I'll make. I just traded Ryan Saracen for a bunch of foil slips, so I'll make sure not to send him one.
They're sending it to my PM on the forums.
Oh, well, that's fine too, I guess. You have to keep track of the time there, Dan.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at what I've done to you here.
You made so much work for me. Well, I'm going to make some work for you really quick. So it is time for your lore challenge. You know what those are?
Great. I do. I actually got losing track right one time, but
you did?
A long time ago. I got one right, but I wasn't on the show. Like I was watching and I actually figured out what it was.
Okay.
If this was Chris Thompson would know. He knows the game text of any cards. And he told me that once. I was like, I don't believe you. I was like, what's Mace Windu from Theed Palace's game text? And he literally just rattled off the exact game text. I was like, okay, let me look. I looked. I was like, are you effing kidding me? See, no F-bomb. I said effing.
No F-bomb.
But yeah, so Maybe
Okay.
not with lore, but let's go. Let's
So
see what we got.
what we're going to do is I have a 15-second timer set up for you. I will give you the lore of a card, and then you can either say, well, now Holotheatre. Bill, give me a second. Just PM me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's saying that swccgpc.org. I'm pretty sure that's it, but I could be wrong. Dude, it's been so. I've been going crazy with internet and stuff, but so what I'll do is I'm going to. You are correct, Bill. I am a dummy. I'm going to give you the lore, and then you can either decide on whether you want the set or the type of card, and then you can get some help from somebody in the chat.
Uh-oh. I don't even see where I can like look at the chat. Oh wait, here it is.
Are you watching on Twitch?
I'm watching on the Zoom meeting. That's not
That's not going to have it. So there's a few people who said there's really good at these, but you get to pick. So if you go, because it's going to have the lore on the screen as well. So if you go up to Twitch and go to the PC's account on Twitch really quick, you can see who's on the chat. Ryan Saracen says he'll help for a foil.
What? No, you stingy. It sounds like he's. Sounds like you're already.
Though. If you guys, if you and your teammate, if you and your helper win, you both get the prize.
I'd be putting a lot of faith in myself.
You have the final say.
Exactly, I'd be putting a lot of faith in myself.
Okay.
Unless it's the lore, they've shut down the main reactor, which is still sitting right next to me. And I also have the lore for We're Leaving, also, that's just sitting here in the box. So if it's one of those, or Japanese Red 3, which is also in close proximity, which I could not tell the lore for anyways, because Japanese.
Gray Chevy Van, I forget who you are. I know you've been here.
Eric Hallbreaker. Or Hallbaker. He owes me an Inquisitor sleeve. I hope he hears me say that.
He's watching.
I never forget about my sleeves. I take those very serious.
He does.
I've got like 250 Reflections 4.
Okay, your lore challenge for this evening. Weekay musician from Sular, studied in a monastery devoted to the Weekay god of thunder, Jabba's drum master, trained in several forms of hand-to-hand combat. Do you want the set or the type?
I mean, isn't it just Akarev?
Do you want the set or the type?
All right, how about the set? Tell me special edition.
Special edition. Who are you going to have pick as your helper?
So I get to pick somebody to give me a foil because I already know what this is?
So what this is going to be is you get to pick somebody in the chat. You guys get to talk for 15 seconds. Decide
I don't know who's in the chat.
Let's see. Justin Desai.
No, I'm not helping Justin.
Chris Kelly.
No help for Justin Desai.
Robbie.
Robbie Hendon?
I think he's in the chat. Bill Kafer, Jared Napolitano.
All right, I'm picking Robbie Hendon if he's in there.
Robbie, are you there?
Justin Desai, since you're watching, you should hook Robbie up with that Coruscant sheet, man. ain't nobody paying you $1,000 for that thing. All right. So is Robbie going to help me?
He hasn't confirmed yet.
Can I pick somebody else if Robbie doesn't say anything?
Yeah.
All right. I'm not giving you a foil, Ryan Searson, since I already know this, but I'll let you have the prize because I like Ryan Searson. I'll let him tell me what he thinks it is anyway.
Okay. Your timer starts now.
Well,
Ryan,
okay.
You're the pick. So
I can't see what he's saying because I still never found Twitch. So
I will tell you.
Ryan, what does Ryan Searson say?
He says you already know it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Akarev. So does he agree with that? Are we just going with Akarev?
Yeah, it's Akarev.
All right, well, we'll go with Akarev then.
It's Akarev. You guys won.
It's just like you know what the thing that makes it? He's like on a common uncommon set. He's like the second guy on there. So I see Akarev like all the time. I'm like Weequay drummer. I was like, who else could that be? I almost said Max Rebo just for the sake of it, but if I'm like trying to get a prize and I want to screw Ryan Searson over by just saying Max Rebo. You know what I just realized today? Max Rebo is signing, or whoever the actor was Max Rebo signing at something in the UK.
Really?
But I have my Max Rebo is a John Anderson stamp, so I don't need a signed Max Rebo. God rest his soul, Max Rebo.
Yeah.
I didn't even see that episode, but Chris Thompson definitely spoiled it for me. Second saddest time of my entire year was that.
What was?
When finding out that Max Rebo bit it. He survived the sail barge just to die in an episode of Boba Fett. Messed up.
Was that Boba Fett or was that Max Rebo?
That's what I was told. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe Max Rebo survived that too. Max Rebo's a survivor.
We
dude.
never saw the body. That's a good point. He's alive.
If you don't see the body,
he's alive.
If there's anything
okay,
I've
hold
learned,
on. What's his face in Boba Fett got shot by Cad Bane and he's still alive?
Cobb Vanth? You can't kill Timothy Olyphant. Haven't you watched Hitman?
No, I haven't.
Well, yeah, Timothy Olyphant or Go. Timothy Olyphant's. Oh yeah, Timothy Olyphant's my favorite character, and like everything, he's Timothy Olyphant.
Okay, fair enough. But
and when I think of Olyphant, I think of those things they ride in those the Mumak guys ride in Lord of the Rings. Olyphants. They're probably called something. You know what? The big elephant things. They're actually like Mumaks, but never mind. I've lost Dan. He's like, I only know Star Wars.
I only know Star Wars. I don't know Lord of the Rings.
All right, what's my Akrev prize? Is it a foil Akrev?
No, you're going to get a pack of Holotheatre Heroes.
Oh!
So you could get another foil Mike Kessler.
Mike Kessler?
You could.
I'd literally have to play ISB with 3 times Agent Calliston, though. That seems excessive.
Yeah. Or you can get a foil Robbie Hendon as Captain Rex.
I'm pretty sure I already have a foil Robbie Hendon also.
Or Jerry as Insidious Prisoner.
Actually, since you said you were going to give me a pack if I open my one in Seattle.
You get 2.
I get 2?
So you got one for the win, and you get 1 from that. Once I'm officially settled in, I'll take care of you.
All right. You guys all heard it here. Dan can't get out of it now.
But again, I want to thank BFred for coming on. It's been a great show as always.
My
with you.
pleasure.
Again, thank you, Jared, for stepping in for the last 3 weeks. I watched I listened to them in between Kendall's podcasts, so they were great shows. But again, next week we'll be talking. I think we're going to be talking to either Garrett Larson or. Yeah, we're going to talk some stuff about Nationals, or we're going to talk a little bit about something else that I had planned, but I forgot what it was. So until next week, as always, stay tuned for next week stay tuned until next Wednesday for some more Holotheatre. Until then, as always, take care, and may the force be with you. Good night, everybody.